The
Well,
commissioners.
it's not project, but it's what it's.
Well, if I was it, I was gonna start. Now you got 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
We gotta wait for Chief James anyway.
Well, we'll always wait.
IT guy's trying to.
Eric says you're on.
Steve.
Okay.
Travis hasn't started yet.
You said it's fine. Started, so I went ahead and started.
Oh, well, I got chewed out for that, so. Wait until 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Meeting of the Sherman County Board of Commissioners will come to order, please. Thank the city for joining us. All board members are present.
Okay, we'll open the Goodland meeting. Roll call, please.
Showalter.
Here.
Redland.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Myers.
Yes.
Thompson.
Here. All right. The floor is yours.
Well, we're going to talk about this building and fire equipment that we have, and that's why Mr. James and his crew's here to, give us an overview and continue with that.
You want an overview?
Well, yeah, a little bit of an overview. Or
Okay. For you members who don't know, 2013, the city and county joined together, actually it's 2012. The city and the county joined together in remodeling this building to turn it into a fire EMS station. The rural department was growing out of their building, which used to be the 4-bay small garage type building straight to the east of the county road and bridge building. The EMS station was being given over to the county. It was no longer being hospital based, so the hospital gave the county a ultimatum to get the ambulance out of their building at a certain date. And the city fire department was growing out of their building, which is right across the alley over here, attached to the city administration building. So the city and the county joined together on this facility. Of course, this building used to be the Dronix building, which used to make antennas. And then before that, gaskets. And then before that, it was a grocery store. So grocery store caught fire in the early 2000s, and then it sat vacant before my time, I'm not for sure. And then the city took it over and then remodeled it, invested X amount of dollars into the building to get it into a usable space. And that's when, I guess, the gasket company came in, and it kind of went from there. When the Dronix left in 2007/2008, when we had the that recession happened, they went to Hayes. This building sat vacant. It sat vacant until around 2012. There was looks at a grocery store to come in here. It was the same grocery store company that runs, or used to run, the one out of St. Francis, and I believe the one out of Lyman, and then that kind of fell on its face. And then, again, the city and the county needed a facility. So the city and the county came together and they said, well, we will allow the county to utilize this building. It's the county's responsibility to remodel the building. And that's when they brought in Mike Miller with Miller Construction. They came in and remodeled the facility as we see right now. So from what I'm advised is that the agreement is it's $1 a year for 30 years. The responsibility of the city is the parking lot and the sidewalks, and then everything internally is the responsibility of the county. So insurance-wise, I think it's dual insured. I think, is that correct?
City insures the building, and then you guys insure your contents as well as we insure our.
Sure. So it's dual insured or triple insured, I guess you almost want to call it that way if we're talking that. So since 2013, July of 2013 actually, so it's been exactly almost 11 years now, we were officially in this building. I cut the green banister and everybody took a picture in front of ladder one, and it was a great joyous time. So like I said, we've been in this building ever since. So the city and the county then came together and decided that they wanted to merge fire and EMS. And in 2020, that's when the county and city really came together and really talked about it. And then in 22, that's when they finally got their merger agreements put together. And it was January 1st of 22 of when the city and the county fire departments merged. And then I became the chief of both fire and EMS and no longer a city employee. So I was a city employee for 14 and a half years. And now here I am with the county for 2.5 years. So, anyways, so the EMS, I don't know if you guys ever had this tour of this building. On the other side of that wall, we have EMS day room, which is also their kitchen, their office area where they do all the reports. And then there's 3 bunk rooms that they have back there. Because we keep EMS here 24/7, 365 full time. So we have a minimum of 3 people on staff every day. That's also including Chief Sherman. He's my assistant chief on EMS, and myself. We're here Monday through Friday. So technically we have 5 full-time EMS personnel in this building Monday through Friday. So usually. So fire department side, we are a paid-per-call fire department. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Our firefighters get paid $28 for every call they go to, and if the call lasts more than 3 hours, they get paid $12 an hour after that. So it's just kind of a thank you for them for serving our community. I know a lot of their jobs pay way more than $28 or even $12 an hour, but it's a little give back that the fire department does give to these individuals. So Chief Garrett, he's my assistant chief on the fire department side. I don't know if you guys know Chief Garrett or not. So all the apparatus out there right now, the city fire department or the city of Goodland has 6 pieces of equipment that's underneath your guys' ownership. Ladder 1, engine 2, hazmat, which is the old 1988 Chevy crew cab. It's our spill unit. ARF, Airport Rescue Crash Truck, which is out at the airport, and then my vehicle, my chief's vehicle. So those are your 6 vehicles. We did auction off City Engine 3 a year and a half ago because the county had purchased Engine 66 out of their own budget to replace City Engine 3. We have slated for a new Engine 2, which this would be the very first city-county joint purchased fire apparatus in the history of Sherman County, which is awesome. And Engine 2, the new Engine 2 should be here hopefully in November. That's what I've been told of this year. So the old City Engine 2 will get auctioned off and sent off. So then at that time, the city will only then have 5 apparatuses or equipment that's actually still underneath your guys' ownership / paying insurance and everything else on top of that. So the county itself has engine 22, engine 11, water tender, brush 5, brush 3, engine 66,
Rescue.
and rescue and spec ops. So we have 8 pieces of equipment on the county side in this building. And that's not including what's in Canarado, which they have 4 pieces of equipment, 5 pieces of equipment over in Canarado, and then Brewster has 4 pieces of equipment over in Brewster. So, anyways. Goodland Station, I'm probably telling you guys way more than you guys need to know. Goodland Station, our district goes from Road 10 to Road 29 to Road 80 to Road 50. That's our rectangle of our operations. If Canarado gets called, Canarado's district is from the state line to Road 10. Brewster's is from Road 29 all the way to Levant. That's their district. So anytime a call happens in Sherman County, Goodland rolls all the time. We have a bigger crew of individuals. We have 29 individuals on our fire department right now based out of the station. Canarado has 5. Brewster has 12 or 15. So we're the bigger department that week. So again, we respond on all calls, unless it's a medical call over in Canarado's district, or if it's a medical call over in Brewster's district, Goodland won't respond. So, anyways. Did I answer any, or did I kind of give a good?
Can you repeat the whole middle section? I was daydreaming.
Were you daydreaming? Probably was. You know, I kind of get long-winded
That's your
on stuff.
That's always been my problem.
So,
I guess, what's, you've got plans, you've got some future plans for this facility?
yeah, so this room, so the county commissioners decided back in the day when they first started this was going to be a community room, which would allow, obviously, the community to use it for events, birthdays, graduations, auctions, so forth, so on. Problem with doing that is that this building is also the Emergency Operating Center, the EOC, the main EOC. So the secondary EOC is out at the police station. So if a tornado runs through the middle of town, then the EOC is going to be out at the police station. If it doesn't, then obviously the EOC is here. That's why if you look at the walls, there's stations of different phone jacks and everything in strategic locations. And the reason why we did that was so that you could set up cubicles and you'd have logistics, planning, finance, IC, all those things that deal with NIMS, ICS, all those stations would be in this room. So that's kind of what the design was. The problem is that we can't keep this room set up for that type of operation because the public would be coming around here. Like Ryan Murray, which he was here today, he would have, if he could, he would want a lot of equipment, like TVs set up on the walls and so forth, so on, so that we can have more IT stuff in this room. The county commissioners approved to not make this a community room anymore. This is going to be strategically just a fire EMS or emergency services building. County, they can't come in here and do like road and bridge, or anybody at the courthouse, they can't come in here and do like CPR training, and we're going to do fire extinguisher training on the 24th. But we can use that for training. But the main purpose of this room is going to be strategic just for training or for EOC type stuff. So the plan is, which I guess Chief Sherman can talk about this a little more because he's kind of one of the brainchilds of what he wants to do in this room. But the talk has been building almost, have you guys been on the Murray Center? Have stadium seating in the Murray Center? Almost kind of doing the same thing in here. Have stadium seating in here. They'll all be facing this way. Building out this wall to make this into where those rows of people are sitting at. That would be one big room to where you can make that into a massive conference room with a big table and everything else. What else?
That's pretty much it. I mean, little stuff here and there. The thing, we're sitting in a building that hasn't been touched since 12.
Yeah.
And so you can see paint's going to need to be done. We got flooring that's starting to pop up, peel. So there's a lot of things that are going to cost some money to invest in this building to refurbish it a little bit, keep it going at its pace. And so I think that's some of the push of trying to debate what to do with this building overall is about.
Yeah, if you guys do notice the floor, you can actually see right behind Mary. There's a pad there. It's a rectangle pad, and that's actually right where a heavy piece of equipment was when this was the Adronics building or the gasket company. When they did the floor, unfortunately, they didn't do leveling. They didn't put leveler down, if I could talk. Before they put down the tile, they just put the tile down directly onto the cement without actually making sure the floor was level and looked nice. So that's why there's a lot of things popping up like that area. There's other areas you can see where there was big steel beams that came down, those areas, and those are all popping up. The floor, it's been waxed multiple times, and this is getting to the point where we need to do something more permanent, as in either do like what the college did, which put down the carpet squares. Those are pretty maintenance free for the most part. And if that one carpet area gets screwed up, you can just pull that square out and put a new carpet piece down, and it's ready to go. So that would be a nice thing to look at and hear. Problem is, again, is that we've been instructed by the county commissioners not to invest a lot of money into this building since it's not technically our building. So that's kind of where we're at. Because if down the road 30 years, which I highly see this happening, I won't be here. I doubt any of us will be in these positions in 30 years. If we are, we got better things to be doing. But anyways, in 30 years, I don't foresee if when the agreement is gone and it sunsets, I don't see the city turning around and telling the county, we're taking this building back. Because I really don't see the city coming in here and coming up with a new idea of what to do in this building. The interior of the building has been specifically designed for fire and EMS. So in order for the city to come in here and revamp this entire building and turn it into something different, you're looking at, at that, in 30 years, I bet, you know, the way construction costs are going through that. It's going to cost a crazy amount of money. So, I don't know. It seems silly that we're stuck on this 30-year, $1 a year agreement when the facility could just be given over to one entity and then let that entity do what they want to do with the building and not have that hanging over their head of, well, you're not going to see that back after 30 years. Why invest all that money into a facility that you're not going to see anything come out of it? So, I don't know.
I wouldn't put it that way.
You wouldn't put it that way?
Don't pick anyone's claim. You won't see that.
So, did I answer your question, Rod?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the thing is, just looking at these reports here, you know, the city and the county have spent pretty much equal amount of money on this thing. It's kind of a draw. And it's all taxpayer money. Unless there were some grants that I didn't know about back in the day, but I don't think so. So I guess we've kind of been circling the wagons since 2012, and we're getting closer to closing up the circle. So what are you guys' thoughts? You currently own the building, okay? We've spent nearly $700,000. You guys have spent 600 some thousand and change. What are your thoughts?
I guess my thought is, like I said, it is a long-term lease agreement with basically renewals built into it for like a couple more renewals. It could be a 100-year lease. It's hard to speculate 20 years down the line if this is still going to be the proper place for fire EMS. Right now, I can't picture another space that would be more suitable, but 20 years is a long time. I guess I don't understand. Like I said, the county already did invest, $600,000, $700,000 at the beginning of the lease agreement to do all the remodeling. Since then, the use has kind of grown beyond past, I think, maybe what the initial thoughts of it would be with EMS staying here, the housing of the EMS people staying here. You guys have grown as an entity, both fire and EMS.
No, that was already planned.
That was planned.
I knew for the equipment and stuff, EMS equipment was there, but as far as like people staying here.
Oh, no, that was planned also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they already had full-time people at that time. So, yeah.
Fair enough, but I guess I don't see, it is all taxpayer money, but what's the value to the city? The city owns the value in the building currently. If you guys were to want to leave, for whatever reason, the city still has that value to do what they wish. If they're trying to sell it, to recoup the value, to use those funds for other means, or what. So I'm trying to see what the benefit is for the city to just sign over the property to the county, and what is your guys' hesitation? I mean, like I said, there's no reason for the city to try to get out of the lease. We don't have a use for it. Things have been working great. I think the merger was a good idea. I think it's been working good. Are there tweaks there? Maybe. Well, things need to happen more with it later on? Possibly. But all in all, I think it's working as well as we could have hoped, and I for one, don't see any reason why it's gonna change anytime in the near future. But I don't understand what the benefit of it would be to the city to just sign over the property to the county, because you guys aren't wanting to invest more in the model.
Okay, picture yourself, you're renting a house. If you don't get a break on the rent, are you gonna spend a bunch of money to put new carpet? And, I mean, it's a rental, you don't own it.
I mean, the rent's free.
It's free, but you don't own it. Ownership, it's a piece of paper. That's a big deal. For me, I wouldn't, had I been a commissioner back in the day, we wouldn't have spent $700,000 on something we didn't own. That's just me. I can only speak for myself. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not good business, to me.
Plus you have the situation where you have the fire department, they want to remodel. And they come to us and we say it's okay, they go to you and you say, no, we don't want that. And so now they're stuck in between both of us there. And which way do they go? You own it, we don't.
Okay, but
And so are you gonna put all the money into it yourself to remodel it?
The lease agreement gives you guys the right to do that. All you have to do is basically just come to the city and say, hey, this is what we like to do. And if we say we don't like it, we have to give good reason as to why we would want to do that. You know, like I said, there's no reason, if you're making changes to the building, that would be improvements for fire and EMS. There's no reason why the city wouldn't want to approve any changes you guys would make.
Yeah, I agree the lease is working. It has been, it's proven, it works. And it's good for 30 more years, apparently. So what's y'all's stance on it? I mean, we can make this a short meeting. We don't need to debate it. I'm not coming in here to strong arm anybody. I gave you my opinion, now let's hear some more.
I can see pros and cons on both sides. For the city, if we would sell whatever to the county, it saves us insurance. But us having the building and insuring the building saves the county that money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I never liked renting anything because it's money which there isn't hardly anything that changes there, but it's not yours, and I understand that point. But usually on a commercial building, I mean, once you rent it, you can do anything to the inside that you want, and when you leave the building, you're supposed to put it back to original. That's the only thing. But you can come in and do anything to the inside of the building that you want when you rent the building on the inside of a commercial building.
Right.
And it's no expense to the leaseor, it's the leasee's responsibility. I mean, either way, it's all taxpayer money in the end.
That's right.
I mean, I don't have no problem with it one way or the other.
What's the rest of you guys?
Going on down the line, you know, yeah, we hope, what's the life expectancy of your ladder truck?
Oh, ladder one, I mean, I can't really, as long as we keep
Keep the
certifying
maintenance
it,
up.
keep maintenance up on it, she should last, quite a while.
Yeah.
She should, but, she's a 97. Technology's getting more and more, just like everything else, so, I mean, she's gonna start showing her age, and start nickel and diming the department as well too, down the road, and that's a piece of equipment you have to have. So, it's just saying like engine one, it's an 07, And to replace that pump is $40,000 to replace that pump. So if that pump goes out, I mean, that's a lot of money. So fire equipment is not cheap whatsoever. Neither is EMS equipment, but you guys don't cover EMS because you guys aren't in with EMS. You guys are with fire. So on the fire department side, things are not cheap. And I'm sure you guys hear this all the time with street and alley and everything else.
Nothing's cheap anymore.
No, nothing is. So thing is the fire department, we don't bring in money for the department. You know, everything is taxpayer, you know. So it is what it is. I don't know if that answers your question.
That answers some of it, but, you know, but so, okay, one of these engines goes down, if it's your engine one or ladder truck, are you gonna come up with the money to replace that truck? Or now is it gonna be our responsibility to replace that truck? And how does that affect the whole thing here of,
Well, I think aren't those funds part of what's budgeted every year from the fire department that we both pay into? It's pretty much equal amounts. And I believe the merger agreement says that, you know, as equipment gets replaced, it's supposed to go back to the entity that stuff is getting replaced.
Well, now we gotta talk about that.
Read up on that merger.
We opened the other can of worms. The amount of money that the city pays was agreed upon, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's based off the 20 budget.
Okay, tell me what the cost of everything's done in the last 4 years.
I mean, we pay equal percentages. I mean, not equal. I think ours is like 48 and some change, and yours is 51 and some change on the percentages that we pay every year in the budget, so.
Off the 20 budget. They can't go more than what the 20 budget is
Right.
per the agreement. So, which means that you're stuck at the 20 budget, which means in 4 years guaranteed, I know street and alley, I know Mary's office, I know electric, everybody has gone up the last 4 years, whether they've asked for 2%, 3%, 5%.
I think the percentages were based off of what we had paid on the 2020 budget. I think
Correct,
that's
and
how
you
they figured the
have to
percentages.
stay at that, right.
But I don't know necessarily specified that the dollar amounts has to stay at that amount. That's just how the percentages was split. Like if you came up and you wanted more money, you would have to present to the city and the county how much more you're wanting, and we would both have to have an agreement of
Right.
that amount equal to our percentages. But I don't think that the merger specified that you couldn't ask for more than what the 2020 budget was.
No, and that's why he's bringing that
It's
conversation.
about how you want to go about it. At some point, we're going to have to address it. Do we want to do a percent adder per year? Do we want to just hit it every 5 years and look at it? I mean, what, you know, we've got to address it at some
So when
point.
do you guys do your budget?
When?
Yeah,
We're working on it now.
yeah, us. And I think the merger says, you know, 1st of June, if you want changes on the budget, you'd have to present them on the 1st of June. That would be, if he did that, like come next year, if you're working your numbers, he'd have to maybe work a little earlier than some of the other departments. But come up with your numbers, present to the city and the county, maybe in May, first part of May, or maybe even last part of April.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I would like these increases, so give us a chance to agree or disagree. If we want to make those changes by the 1st of June, then we can do it in the budget.
Yeah.
That's how it would work, where the merger is written now.
Now, is that something that you guys want to work on annually, so we don't get in the hole too far? So it's smaller incrementals, if need be? I would say review it every year, right?
I mean, ultimately, I believe that's the chief's,
Ultimately, it's the fire board.
you know, whoever's going over their
I answer to 4 of those individuals over there.
Look over their numbers, you know, annually, early, first of the year or something. Kind of look at last year, see if things coming up. If you think there's going to be changes being made for the upcoming year, you need to have those presented early on in the spring for us to be able to make those changes and improvements.
It's pretty much, you know, you're gonna have the odd years where, yeah, there's gonna be apparatus purchased and all this stuff. That's not really what you guys are paying in on. You're paying in on just general O&M, just operations. You know, as far as purchasing new stuff, well, that's on us. I mean, we're all paying for it, but if you want to help, you know, you're gonna help buy equipment, it's hefty.
And the last time we ordered a truck, when we ordered it, you would get it in 785 days. So, you know, you're locking in a price, but that isn't a guarantee.
No, it's crazy.
And so, you know, you're trying to look ahead to where we're at. It would almost need to be an annual event to go through that budget and see what we're at and see what we need for different pieces of equipment, because it's gonna take quite a bit to get it out there.
Mike, how do you see all this shaking out budget-wise as far as, you know, who's paying what? And
I think Ashley, and I think we kind of went over that, I think we're looking pretty decent on our budgets. The truck we had originally talked to you about in 22 is the one he's talking about, it's November of 25, which is that long out to get our hands on. Luckily, we did lock in the cost, of my understanding, on that unit. What's spooky is looking forward down the road for the next, because we have tried to have due diligence to buy off-lease or used units when we could, that were in very good shape. Problem is, there's every fire department in the country looking for those same units now. We did get some pretty great deals at one time. Those deals are kind of done now, but we're gonna probably have to go to Duke to find those deals. Another thing is those trucks that we bought, we're kind of off lease now, those units are 07, 08 model trucks, and we intentionally did that to get around some of the emissions issues. But now, the reality of this, everything probably going forward from here, we're gonna have to look at the units. Because the departments are not letting loose the stuff now.
And is that not part of your work, doing your budget? That's not part of what you're budgeting, is future cost of equipment?
We are. That, we don't have that crystal ball to know exactly, but like this truck, that's what we came to you guys, kind of tell, hey, we're gonna use your funds, this so much of your funds and Sherman County's funds to buy that one truck that basically will take the place of I think 2 trucks here, Brian.
Yep.
Is so we can dual purpose a truck that usually is just sitting here in the bay and collect dust. And that's that truck that could, like Brian said, if that thing goes down, it is not really to repair that old truck. It's just not worth it.
So you're doing the best that you can.
Yeah,
Trying to,
we
you know,
really
do it, kind of does it.
very close.
Anybody who has a fleet of vehicles kind of does it, you know.
Right, and we keep in close contact with the county commissioners, and Ashley comes in usually, quarterly, I think is where we've been going, and really fine tune our budgets. We would like to get it to, we have the city funds over here and the county funds over here. When we get past this unit, we should be able to go into one fund. For our, knowing where we're at in our, for bookkeeping, it'd just be a lot simpler for us to know it's all in one account, instead of so many dollars over here that the city had left over, and the county will have that. Once we pay for this check, my understanding is that should be in one fund from there on out. So
Yeah.
it'll be easier for us to keep track of knowing exactly where we're at.
On that end, I guess I'm not sure. I mean, kind of sounds like working for you guys. But thank you for that. So we are, so my understanding is, you know, the money that we're both paying, and part of that is being budgeted for the equipment and stuff. So yes, we are still paying our share of money towards equipment. As far as, you know, the ownership of the new equipment, that I guess I'm not 100% sure on. We double check the merger agreement to see exactly how that reads in there. So everything just going into one account, kind of seems to be registered as one owner. When we buy equipment from that, so I'm not real sure how that will work, but just double check into that.
Okay, so the general consensus is basically retain ownership of the building.
I mean, I think it's something we can definitely discuss, you know, at our next meeting, you know, a little more. I mean, I'd say we're definitely not gonna make any kind of decisions today, but I just, my own personal feelings, I don't see, you know, it's all taxpayer money, but we're looking at it in different ways, and who we're owning to. As a steward to the city, you know, I gotta look at it in light, is it the best use of the city property and city value to give it to the county, you know, because we don't use our money for the same things, and we don't have our value, don't go to the same places, you know, they have different uses and different purposes. So I don't know that I will be in favor of it, I will definitely think about it some more, but, you know, just what I'm feeling now, I don't see the value to the city of Goodland to do that. When the agreement, you know, the rental agreement's already set up for you to be able to come in and make any changes you want. You have to pay for those changes, but it's there built in, you know, an agreement was meant to be a long-term, you know, as long as you want the use of the building, you pretty much have use of the building.
Is there any verbiage in our contract that states that everything has to be returned back to its original?
I don't know.
I mean, I can't imagine that.
It's just usually how commercial stuff.
Yeah,
goes when you
yeah,
do it.
just in general.
In general,
Yeah, okay.
Is there something that we could add to the contract in good faith that might make you guys feel better about where we're sitting with the contract? Would you like us to take off the 30-year portion of it and just say this is a contract in perpetuity to show you that, I mean, this is the only thing we want done with this building, is we want this to be for fire and EMS.
Yeah, I get it. I would like to think we trust each other enough to not have to get into all that, but
Yeah.
you never know. We're not always gonna be sitting here.
Right.
Well, I think
That's-
probably the most likely, you know, end to this would be the fire department or EMS outgrows this building and has to build something else, and then the city is out the value of the property. So it's not that
Right.
we don't trust you, it's just,
No, I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
Because there's been ideas of buying some lots across the street and adding to the EMS for quarters but then that, if we did that, that opens up more storage for the fire department to put a few more trucks in certain areas. And, you know, whether the fire grows or the EMS grows, and then we need more, you know, people on call all the time, it could happen.
I think it's just one of those situations, unless we talk about it once in a while.
Right.
We don't know where we're at.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think my feeling is, you know, in the end, it doesn't really matter to me who owns the building because it's
Right.
meant for one purpose, and that is for the fire and EMS. And
Yep.
literally the only thing that matters is, you know, what could happen at some point if we gave up our interest in the building. So we trust you. This is what we want done with the building, but, you know, those are the things that we have to look out for. But in the end, does it really matter? Probably not.
Right.
Okay.
You guys got anything else?
I don't.
Brian?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we talked about budget, we talked about fire apparatus, we talked about the building. Those are the main three things I wanted to talk about. So
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have any questions on what I just handed out. It's basically just a little bit of information on how much each entity is being used within Sherman County. As you can see, the city of Goodland Fire Department, or the city of Goodland side of things, uses the mass majority of fire services in Sherman County, 56% versus 43% over the last 5 years. So, I don't know, it's just something, little tidbit of information you guys can hold and use for future discussion and stuff like that, so.
Well, I think the idea, or at least what I've been told, it was the idea regarding the apparatus, is as new apparatus came on, the old city ones would go away, it would no longer be a city engine or ladder.
Correct.
That's.
And
the way I do it.
eventually, it'll take quite a while.
Right, yeah, especially with the cost of everything, exactly.
But, I mean, and then part of that, budgeting wise, I think is hard too, is if you have 14 apparatus within the fire department, not counting Kenneray and Brewster, even if you replace an apparatus every 5 years, that's 70 years
Right.
to replace all 14 apparatus. That just gets to be kind of mind-boggling at a time, that
Right.
thinking, trying to keep a fire engine going for 40 to 70 years.
Right.
At one point, they talked about titling all the city equipment over to the county.
Right.
I still think that's a good idea, because right now, the city it's under the city's name. When Brian sells it, he has to look me up, he has to find the title. When we renew insurance, I have to get all the county fire department because they're driving our equipment. I just think it's a wise move to title that equipment to the county. That's just I know that's been a discussion, but it's never been acted on.
It is. I mean, you got county employees driving city apparatus, so it makes things more clean cut if everything's just titled over to the county, so.
We haven't had a big incident that
We have not yet, knock on wood.
exposed that type.
Yeah,
Not wait for
so-
that to happen.
Yeah, no, let's hope not. So, but yeah, so every year Crystal has to hit me up and ask for everybody's driver's licenses and so she can do driver's records and all that stuff. And it's just, yeah. So insurance, city has to insure all the city apparatus. So it's just, I know you guys are saying it's taxpayer money one way or the other, but it just makes it cleaner, I guess, if the city.
Anything you can do to streamline it, to make it a little easier on everybody, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Would you guys accept the titles if we send them to you? You want the trucks, you came for the building, you want the trucks and stuff.
It's all unfinished business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the steps that have been taken.
To
Like
try
I
to
said,
make it emerge to a true. emerged
yeah,
department.
just clean it up. Clean it up. So,
Keep making steps to get to that point where
Yes.
it's one department and it's not.
yep. Yep.
Brian, thanks for everything you do. I've watched since you started as the fire chief here, and you've transformed both departments into a really great professional group. So thank you for all the work that you do.
I'll second that, because he has put something together where 100% of the crew is dual trained, so they can fight rural fire, they can fight city fire. So you now have, instead of 12 here and 10 here or something, you have 29 individuals that will respond to every fire. Oh, that's a rural one, I don't need to go there. No, they're showing up to the firehouse, and if they don't need to go out with that piece of equipment, they're still on here for standby, and that's a tribute to Brian and his officers and stuff that has done a wonderful job of it.
Absolutely.
He's okay.
Gee, Charlie Brown, we all have our faults, but
He's coming along.
Yeah. Gray hair says it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just be glad you got here.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Well, we don't have anything else, I guess.
no.
Just conversation.
Well, I'm glad we were able to get together. It's been a while since we have. Things are good for us to get
So
together.
we need to look at maybe late March, early April, looking at talking budget in different places.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, double check, but I'm pretty sure it's at 1st of June. Has to be approved by both city and county. What they're gonna have for their budget, so.
Early April. Won't be my problem.
That's true.
You keep reminding us of that.
All right.
Okay, so motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn the county portion of the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye. Close same sign, motion passed.
Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
by Commissioner Redland,
So, yeah.
second by Walter, I think.